Oh my goodness. Well, for some folks, Joseph, waking up to some wet weather, and we're expecting more tonight, really.
Yeah, we are. I think a very similar forecast to yesterday. So the afternoon wasn't bad, right? It was sunny, it was a little hot, but then we got to the evening time frame. We started to see those storms engage out west. I think something is going to happen like that later today, too. This morning, I want to actually show you some of the Weather Watcher Network rain totals coming across the state. Anywhere from maybe about 1/4 of an inch to over an inch. I see a 3-inch mark there up to the north there in Hackensack. That was probably from the big old storms yesterday evening that were quite slow. And as I take us closer to the cities, a little less than 3 inches, but good enough to get the ground wet and put a little soaking in the lawn. We have 0.35 coming out of Phyllis's spot in Farmington. That was from the storms overnight, and she says cloudy and rain overnight. I'll show you some of the other rain totals too, coming back from maybe some of the other spots across the state. This is over the last 24 hours. So over at the airport, 3/300ths of an inch. A little bit more down towards Mankato, about 4/10ths of an inch there. And then we're just seeing scattered amounts all over the place. Anything that was in the purple or that blue shade there was like 2 to 4 inches though. And some of the storms that develop later today as well could really bring in some serious rain and some flooding problems too. All right, so that is definitely a possibility with our second round. This is the first round that's still lingering here early this morning at 5:19, mainly south of us. But wow, those storms really brought the wind in last night, the heavy rain. I'm sure it probably woke up for maybe just a moment there. If you slept through it, good for you. Good stuff. Okay, the latest. I have more heat and more storms in the forecast. I just mentioned that. I have a severe threat today, more so this evening into tonight. And I see another heat wave coming our direction next week, which means we're probably not going to be seeing any below average temperatures around here for quite some time. We'll go with 89 for the forecast high today, though upper 70s to lower 80s up north. You'll see with the weather models here that we have a lot of dry time this afternoon, though. We'll get some clouds out west starting to stream in before we get to our next storm threat. And here come the storms firing up. This is 8 p.m. These could be supercells right here. That could include, again, gusty conditions. Maybe get some hail, maybe a little bit of rotation. So that is something that we'll have to monitor late tonight. Through the overnight hours, conditions are just primed for another line of storms. Those depart through the morning. I see a few more scattered storms in the forecast for southeast Minnesota in the afternoon and evening. Overall, we get a drying trend, and that's going to help us out as we go into our Thursday. So this is what it looks like on the 7-day forecast. We'll be close to 90 today. We do cool down some tomorrow because of storms and some clouds kind of sticking around the area. Start warming up again, and as we get into the weekend, I have us basically in the 90s, if not very close on Saturday, lower 90s on Sunday, mid-90s on Monday as some more heat starts to move on in. We just got to get through some storms here the next couple of days, but it looks like it's more so hot and dry for the weekend.
We asked for it. Now it's here.
Summer, baby.
All right, Joseph, thank you. And President Trump is in Turkey today for the NATO summit.
CBS News' Bradley Blackburn joins us now with what we know this could mean for ongoing international conflicts. Good morning, Bradley.
AJ Barrett, good morning. The French president is headed to that NATO summit after wrapping up in Syria. Ukraine's president is also scheduled to attend, along with other NATO allies and leaders from Australia, Japan, and South Korea. The White House has called for a NATO 3.0 reboot without providing many specifics, so the world will be watching this summit closely for answers.
After climbing the steps to the new Air Force One, President Trump headed to Turkey overnight for a NATO summit, where a major focus will be Russia's war with Ukraine. Deadly missile and drone attacks on Kyiv Monday showed the years-long war remains hot. But in the Oval Office before his departure, President Trump predicted a possible peace after speaking with Russia's President Vladimir Putin over the weekend.
I think we're getting much closer than people realize, and President Putin wants it to end. I will tell you that very strongly. A good call. And President Zelensky actually wants it to end now. And we're going to be going to NATO, and we're going to be talking about it. And I think we're going to get it. I think we're going to get it ended.
The president is set to meet with Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky while in Turkey, where he also plans to push European leaders to hold to their commitment to boost defense spending to 5% of their respective GDPs. Ahead of the summit in June, NATO Secretary General visited the White House and spoke about how allies are already spending more.
Our stockpiles have to be replenished.
He said despite President Trump's vocal frustration, he remains committed to the alliance.
He is completely committed to the NATO alliance, but he is also absolutely clear, as always. This is the great strength of this president. So he was always clear, I'm committed to the NATO alliance. But I expect allies to spend more, to equalize with the United States.
The summit is set to kick off at a dinner Tuesday with a full working session of world leaders Wednesday.
The president has also expressed frustration with NATO allies over their criticism of the U.S. war with Iran. The Pentagon recently ordered a review of U.S. military presence in Europe, an action that has taken allies by surprise. AJ and Barrett.
Thanks, Bradley. Elk River has rejected an ordinance to allow for a data center as the debate surrounding them throughout Minnesota continues. Maria Lizignoli joins us now after a packed meeting last night. Maria.
Yes, that's right. The Elk River City Council voted unanimously against the ordinance amendment that would have allowed for the project. Residents in Elk River have repeatedly raised questions over noise, water usage, and transparency. But after it was voted down, the mayor says it effectively shuts down the proposed data center. The city council is now taking steps toward a moratorium, which would put data center construction on pause. For the owner of Eyre Brewing, this was a sigh of relief. He was worried the proposed data center next to his business would drive away customers.
We can move forward as a business now. We had put a lot of things kind of on pause till we had heard what the direction they were going to go with on this. So now that they've done that, we can start doing more things at the tap room, knowing that we have some time still in that location.
Several other Minnesota cities have implemented a pause on data center development, including Eagan. The city of Eagan passed a one-year moratorium back in February. But WCCO learned last night Eagan faces a lawsuit filed by a data center company who called the moratorium ill-advised and unlawful. A spokesperson for the city said, in part, the city is confident in its position and intends to vigorously defend its moratorium through the legal process. Inver Grove Heights also put a moratorium on data centers in place this year and also faces the threat of litigation.
Okay, story we will continue to follow. The conversation not over yet. Thanks, Maria.
Right now, the time's coming up on 6:05. Investigators now say bullets hit 4 people when gunfire erupted early Monday morning in North Minneapolis. This happened on Water Street, just north of Broadway Avenue Bridge, the bridge there. A 17-year-old boy, 3 men, all hurt, but they will survive. Police think all 4 were leaving a building when the shooting happened. Officers have not arrested anyone. Minneapolis police are investigating at least 4 other shootings over the weekend and in north and northeast neighborhoods as well. A total of 5 people were shot. 1 man died and another is seriously hurt. The rest, including a 17-year-old boy, are expected to survive. At last check, no arrests. Now, the city's interim police chief said investigators are working diligently to identify everyone responsible and ensure they are held accountable. He also noted that increased enforcement and proactive partnerships help prevent additional harm, including the recovery of several illegal firearms over the weekend.
This morning, police are still searching for who shot and killed a teenager in Brooklyn Park. Officers used canines to search Hartcop Park yesterday. They say someone shot and killed the 16-year-old boy just before 11 Sunday night. A neighbor says he saw a group of about 10 people lighting off fireworks.
I didn't really pay attention to it. I mean, 4th of July weekend is usually busier and more people later in the park than normal, so I didn't really pay attention.
Police say they tried to save the boy's life when they got there, but he died from his injuries. They have not arrested anyone.
President Trump arrives in Turkey this morning for a NATO summit.
CBS News' Bradley Blackburn tells us ahead of the meeting, the president suggested an end to the Russia-Ukraine war could be close.
After climbing the steps to the new Air Force One, President Trump headed to Turkey overnight for a NATO summit, where a major focus will be Russia's war with Ukraine. Deadly missile and drone attacks on Kyiv Monday showed the years-long war remains hot. But in the Oval Office before his departure, President Trump predicted a possible peace after speaking with Russia's President Vladimir Putin over the weekend.
I think we're getting much closer than people realize, and President Putin wants it to end. I will tell you that very strongly. A good call. And President Zelensky actually wants it to end now. and we're going to be going to NATO, and we're going to be talking about it, and I think we're going to get it. I think we're going to get it ended.
The president is set to meet with Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky while in Turkey, where he also plans to push European leaders to hold to their commitment to boost defense spending to 5% of their respective GDPs. Ahead of the summit in June, NATO Secretary General visited the White House and spoke about how allies are already spending more.
Our stockpiles have to be replenished.
He said despite President Trump's vocal frustration, he remains committed to the alliance.
He is completely committed to the NATO alliance, but he is also absolutely clear, as always. This is the great strength of this president. So he was always clear, I'm committed to the NATO alliance. But I expect allies to spend more, to equalize with the United States.
The summit is set to kick off at a dinner Tuesday with a full working session of world leaders Wednesday. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, New York.
The president has also expressed frustration with NATO allies over their criticism of the war with Iran. The Pentagon recently ordered review of the U.S. military presence in Europe, taking allies by surprise.
Joseph Dames, I know we're switching gears at 6:48, but it looks like we're off to a nice sunny start. But I know you're tracking the potential rain. We need some of this rainfall, though, too.
There's some areas that are still dealing with drought, then there's other portions of the state that are doing just completely fine. And that's kind of the nature of summer when we have hit or miss thunderstorms, or some areas get some big downpours, and by the time the storms reach a different part of the state, they dissipate. So that's a possibility as we go into tonight as well. I actually want to show you our potential precipitation to kind of give you a good gauge of that. And this is over the next 24 hours. This is mainly concentrated on the storms later today into tonight. And it sure looks like the western portion of the state is where we could see some of the highest rainfall totals, piggybacking off of the areas yesterday that had about 1 to 2 inches in some spots. And as these storms march east overnight, likely bringing less rain, and south and north extreme portions of the state likely on the periphery of some of the higher totals. For now, we're good. As AJ put it, is nice and calm this morning. It's nice to see some sunshine. I was up on the roof at 6:30. It was comfortable, a little humid, but the temperatures are nice and comfortable. The dew points came down just a little bit. Instead of the upper 60s, we're at about 64. So you'll notice it, but it's not bad. Rain so far just shy of 1/4 of an inch at least coming from our station right here. Satellite and radar also showing the rain slowing down to the southeast after I've put this back 6 hours and we had that line of thunderstorm action. Then we had a very sharp cutoff with the clouds. I saw some blue sky out there. You just saw it from our view. You can anticipate more sunshine as we work through the next 6, 7, 8 hours or so. Eventually we'll get to some storms and some clouds though. You'll start to notice those developing a little bit this afternoon. This is 8 p.m. I have storms north, a few cells just to the west of us. This is when things really start to take over. This is 2:45 and we could potentially have a line of some severe storms developing. So make sure you're with us because we'll help you out through the overnight hours as well. And then it should start clearing out as we go into our Wednesday, probably morning. And then hopefully we have more dry time in the afternoon, and we'll keep that going as we go into our Thursday. So this is what the 7-day looks like. We get close to 90 today. It's going to be hot, a little humid, maybe a little hazy out there. We'll go with 82 tomorrow with storms probably in the morning, slowing down in the afternoon and evening. Mid-80s Thursday. Upper 80s Friday, and now we get back to the heat. I have dry conditions this weekend, but I definitely have some very hot temps. I have lower 90s Sunday, mid 90s come Monday.
Well, we had some storms last night that moved through the Minnesota. Let's start with a live look outside this morning because it is the calm after the storm. This beautiful shot coming to us from Joel came off this morning. The mighty Mississippi with the beautiful sunrise, but as we mentioned last night, a very different story in parts of the state.
Listen to that. Strong storms hit some Minnesota communities hard last night. Thunder, heavy rain, and whipping wind hit Hackensack on Monday.
And then over in west central Minnesota, look at the light show seen over Lake Osakis. Look at all this light. I mean, this was just constant for about 30 seconds.
And we're getting a glimpse of some major damage in Detroit lakes. Yesterday, there were reports of a tornado in the area.
Joseph, sounds like a plan. Thank you. We're back in the studio.
Where's the kangaroo?
I know. They wouldn't let me take him.
Up next, a police officer makes an unusual rescue. Our coverage continues at 10 a.m. That's on our streaming service, CBS News Minnesota.
We want to check in now with Maria Lizignoli at the live desk to see what's coming up. Hi, Maria.
Hey, good morning. Happening today and right here at the live desk. Next in just moments on our free streaming channel, CBS News Minnesota and YouTube Live.
All right. Thanks, Maria. So a newborn fawn found itself in a tight situation and got some help from this Roseville police officer. Young fawn stuck in an egress window Monday morning. After borrowing the homeowner's ladder, the officer scooped up the baby to get it back where it belongs, out in the wild. But that picture right there, it's a good-looking picture. Hard day of work. Good-looking picture right there.
One day you're saving a cat up in a tree.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Next day it's a fawn.
But every day it's different, though. Every day in a police officer's life, it's going to be
That's very
different.
true. Much like the weather.
Very much so. Very much so.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, so today I have temperatures like topping off in the upper 80s, pushing 90 degrees. Kind of think yesterday, a little hot, a little humid. Storms back in the forecast tonight, likely while you're in bed. A few showers and storms tomorrow as well, and then we dry up and check out the weekend. Right now it's hot, it is dry, lower 90s.
We'll be ready for it. Thanks, Joseph. Thanks for joining us this morning here on Mid Morning. Your local news continues on CBS News Minnesota.
Someone's,
You're like, finally, someone says
someone's
it.
paying attention to it.
Yeah, I think they're just getting a little too far out of hand.
I know, but they're getting too far of him, and then you have this generation that's saying that's too much. I mean, they're changing it. I don't know.
What role do you think social media plays in all this too? Like you talk about weddings getting out of hand.
Yeah. Well, I would think it would, like the comparison game would be a big thing, but looking at this research, it's actually does the opposite. More than half don't feel pressure. I feel like it would be the opposite.
Nearly 7 in 10
keep
say
up.
Weddings just feel like a production compared to a personal experience.
Yeah, which I don't know. I think each wedding is different, and it's depending on what you want. Maybe some people do want the big
maybe
party.
they want to go all out.
You
Yeah,
know,
totally.
but it's the trend of we're seeing more smaller and smaller weddings, and more DIY
Is
and
this
more
mostly
personal
because
touches.
of like financial purposes?
I think so.
I think that's a big part in it.
'Cause then
Yeah.
going into all these other things, you may want to get a house, you may want to start a family. I mean, you have to spend a lot of money right away.
Oh, absolutely.
All those things all cost money, and not only a little bit of money. I mean, you're talking about life-changing events. We're talking about in a lot of circumstances. When you get married, that's a life-changing event.
Yeah.
When you have a child, that's a life-changing event. Getting a house, life-changing event. So if you have all of those things that stack up concurrently the way you're supposed to do it, that's a lot of money to spend. So I can understand a couple saying, you know what, who's getting married, maybe we don't spend as much on our wedding, and maybe we spend it on a down payment for the house or something along those lines. I totally get that.
Travel should be a part of your financial plan, not a threat to it. The key is planning for it the same way you would plan for any other major financial goal.
See, that part seems to be the hard part for a lot of people, the planning part of it. We've got the perfect person who can help us plan it all. Dustin Smith from Wealth Enhancement Group. I love this topic, travel.
Yes.
Especially because we're at, middle of the year. A lot of people could be thinking about a trip at the end of the year. Is it too late?
No, it's not too late. And honestly, the reason why we want to talk about this is, I've been doing this for about 20 years, and I will tell you, every time I sit down with a client and I ask them, hey, what is this thing you're most excited about here coming up? The number one answer is always travel. It's just a great way that I think you can spend time with your family, have a cultural experience, and honestly, just kind of break away from the mundane parts of life.
Sure. Yeah. So where do you even begin with planning for this?
Yeah. So travel can vary, right?
Yeah.
So
Yes, it can.
sometimes we're talking about going to Paris, and sometimes we're just talking about going on a camping trip.
Sure.
And they all matter. And I think sometimes I would say, first, understand why you want to go to a place, right?
Okay.
So is this a multi-generational trip you want to take with your grandchildren? Is this something that you want to do because it's a bucket list? Because that will then help you decipher, how much of your assets you want to set aside for this trip, right? I mean, if it's so important, you're going to find a way to make it happen.
I feel like that can be the hard part, especially if you are trying to take those steps ahead of time, especially if you're looking at inflation right now. If you look at a trip at the beginning of the year to a place overseas, it'd be, like you said, Paris.
Yes.
It could be $2,000 at the beginning of the year. Now it's up to, let's say, $2,800. How do you plan for that?
Yeah, so start early, right? I mean, that's the main thing. If you are going to try something that's an expensive trip, first of all, plan for costs today and not what it cost you 5 years ago, because obviously things are a lot more expensive.
Yeah.
But the earlier you can get in, the better. So for example, for flights or for hotels, I mean, often there are some more inexpensive places to stay, but those things fill up quickly.
Yeah, they do.
So I always tell folks, let's try to get it as early as we can on the planning side and book your tickets, because then it also gives you something to look forward to, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we always try to, you know, if you have something that's 6 months out, you get that whole 6 months of, you know, anticipation and joy of that.
Yeah.
So you have 3 ways to fight
Yeah.
rising travel costs. Break that all down for us.
Yeah, so first of all, you know, we talked about starting early.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
I think that's the main thing.
Number one.
The second one, as I always say, be flexible with your dates, because often if you're looking at flying, right, if you want to fly home on a Sunday, that's going to cost you more than maybe
Sure.
flying home midweek. And then finally, the third one is, like, let's be thoughtful about the actual prices. So if you're going to plan, not only just plan for the cost of, you know, maybe your hotel or your flight, but also try to budget for, you know, going out to eat and any of the things that you're going to do then, because you want to be able to travel and have some guilt-free experience.
Of course.
Right?
Yeah.
And not get to Paris or maybe even up north and find out that everything's way more expensive than you thought, and then it takes the joy out of it because you're, you know, pinching every penny.
We've got about 20 seconds left. You say save for travel intentionally. What do you mean when you say that?
So set aside a budget if you can. So every month, for example, like my wife and I, we have a little account and we add to it every month. Now, when we first were married, it was a very small amount. But what that allowed us to do is have some money set aside for something we feel is important, but once again, have that guilt-free spending if possible.
Instead of McDonald's, put it over into the travel fund instead.
There you
Dustin,
go.
as always, we appreciate you. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Professor of Psychology Joel Fredrickson and Izzy Balvin, a senior psychology student. Thank you both so much for joining us this morning.
Thanks for having us.
Okay, Joel, explain. Tell us about this. What's going on here? The science of fandom.
Yeah, the psychology of fandom. There's a good literature on that, right? And there should be. Fandom's kind of a multi-billion-dollar industry, right? And so that, for me, I'm not actually the hugest soccer fan, but I'm very interested in UK fandom, soccer fandom, football fandom, because that is some of the most intense fandom that's out there. You know, as an example, if you go to a match there, visitors can sit in this section and there's security going up and down. You know, so like we think we're big fans here, Vikings, Packers, but everybody's mixing up. You know, where they're sitting. That's not allowed in a UK football stadium. Yes.
Okay, good to know. Okay, so Izzy, tell us about this experience overseas.
Yeah, so it was truly one of a kind. The first year we've done this trip. So it was any student who wanted to go, but it was primarily the men's and women's soccer team that were with us, and then a few psych majors, a few business majors, kind of whoever. Yeah, and like Dr. Fredrickson said, we kind of got to experience what the football fandom was like over there. We got to attend matches, interview fans, interview CEOs of football stadiums, and kind of just got to experience all they had.
It feels like a very different culture over there compared to fandom that we see here. What did you learn from that experience about the fandom over there? How does it compare? Because it feels different over there.
Yeah. I would say a majority of it came from the idea of collectivism versus individuality. Like here, a lot of teams, or a lot of people like root for teams just growing up throughout families.
Yeah.
Like it's passed down through generations. Like this is the team you cheer for, and if you don't, well, there's an issue there. But here I feel like it's you pick the player you want. Who do you like? Who do you want to cheer for? It's not as much stress passed down generationally to cheer for like who you want to cheer for.
It almost feels like it's like a collective over there compared to, like you said, individual over here. Is that?
Yeah,
interesting?
Exactly.
And I would say that was kind of a number one thing of students when they were interviewing fans. That was a big part of the course, is just to have them interview fans. And that was the biggest thing. You know, why do you support, let's say, Birmingham City? I had no choice. I was born into it. Right? It was 5 generations.
Right. We're Vikings fans. We're born into it.
Yeah.
Do you think this tournament, I mean, we've seen fans come out outside Brit's Pub and all these watch parties. Do you think that this is helping Americans kind of embrace that soccer culture more?
Yeah, I do think so, definitely. I think really the story of this tournament, right, if we think about it, is like the Scottish fans, right?
Oh my gosh,
that's the Scottish and the Norway fans. And you hear people from Boston saying the Scots have taught us we can have fun again. You know, it's like, and so I love that aspect of the tournament. The intensity, I think what a lot of Americans are seeing is the intensity of the fandom. I think that's one of the big differences that we see. I think partly, for myself, my fandom is kind of spread out. You know, it's Vikings, but it's Twins, it's Timberwolves, and it's a Wild, kind of thing. their fandom is intense of this is my club.
Yeah.
Interesting. If someone wants more information, Izzy or Doctor, on this student project, where can they go to get more information to learn about this?
Yeah, the BU Textura, all one word, .com. That has the online magazine that the students created. They did a great job with that related to the course and the trip.
Really good
Amazing.
stuff. Well, Joel, Izzy, thank you guys so much for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah.
Really cool. If you are looking for a summer road trip, why not head up north? You should head up to the Duluth area, and we've got the perfect person you should check out. North Wildlife Park in Brainerd. Kevin Vogel, the Safari North owner, is here, and you brought some friends with you. It's great to see you again.
Thank you for having us. We really appreciate it.
Tell us the friend you brought with us today. Who is Beret holding here?
This is Sydney.
I love
Sydney is a little red kangaroo. Yeah. He's about 1.5 years old, and he's one of the many animals that we have up at Safari North.
Okay. Oh, tell us about some of the other animals that are up at Safari North, because Sydney's on our best behavior this morning, clearly.
Very good. Yes, we have about 120 different species: giraffe, rhino, zebras, tigers, lots of primates. We have everything that you could want. Giant anteaters. Oh my God. It's a really unique experience in Safari North.
So I understand that coming up this weekend, what's going on this weekend up there?
So we're having our family kids weekend this weekend. So it's a free, it doesn't cost anything extra. We're having strolling magicians. We're having yo-yo master come around. We have free face painting. We're also having zookeeper kids, so they can make crafts for the animals and then go with the zookeepers to see how the animals interact with the enrichment items.
Oh, cool.
So it's really a fun weekend.
Okay, so I see we have a kangaroo here.
But there's more.
Who are some of the other animals that we, oh my gosh. Y'all, we have a porcupine here. Look here, a porcupine. Who is our friend?
So this is Quilliam.
Quilliam. How old is Quilliam?
Quilliam is about 2 months old.
Okay.
He's a North American porcupine that we have right here in Minnesota. Now, a lot of people think that they are not born with the quills, but they are. He has about 20,000 quills in him.
Oh my goodness.
Now, if I pet Quilliam, is it?
So pet this way.
Okay. Don't pet the other way.
Soft. Okay, what other animals do we have over here?
We got a bunch of them.
We got a
here.
porcupine, we got a kangaroo.
I think we got a
the
little
safari
raccoon.
keeps going. Oh, we got a raccoon.
Oh.
We got a trash panda, y'all. What's our trash panda's name?
This is Bandit.
Bandit.
Get out.
Bandit's crawling all over the place too.
Bandit has a lot of energy.
Yeah.
Lots and lots of energy. But he's one of the few raccoons that we do have on exhibit at Safari North. So it's one of the many animals.
Goodness.
I can imagine kids, as you get to your next animal, kids have got to love this. I mean, I'm thinking about the enrichment weekend, Beret. This has got to be great for kids of all. At this point, you're an adult. You really turn into a kid again, too. It's going to be fun.
You really do. And you get so up close and personal with them, and it's just a lot of fun.
I'm sorry, is this the University of Minnesota mascot? Is this a gopher?
No, this is a prairie dog.
Oh, so
That was close. A prairie dog.
So close, yes. This is a little baby prairie dog here.
Hi,
and
buddy.
about 6 weeks old.
Okay, does he have a name too?
This is Buster.
This is Buster.
Yes.
Okay. So really quick, give us the rundown, because we've seen a bunch of animals. We got about 30 seconds. Give us the rundown. Safari North Wildlife Park, the place to check out. Give us the hours.
9 to 6 every single day. We're located in Brainerd. We're about 2 miles north of the Welcome Center, or 5 miles south of the Walmart stoplight in Brainerd. And every single day, 7 days a week, 9 to 6, and lots of things to do. 43 acres of fun.
I will say that last year, Beret, you weren't here, but last year for this segment, we were inside the studio, and we had some guests. And there were some droppings in the studio, so we moved the segment outside. We appreciate you. It's great to see you this year.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you.
Okay.